Oh,
We are
hello.
live.
How scary and
Day.
exciting.
Good day. We are live since 10 seconds.
I mean, what is 10 seconds? So, I think, are we going to have an immensely relaxing, immensely laid back day?
I mean, it's the end of my day and I'm off tomorrow, but yes,
Yeah.
I am
And
very relaxed. I have my flower shirt. Everything's fine.
so, we've promised that we're going to do the project we did over last week, but we're going to do it without any of the code. I'm going to do it because I'm always so lazy. Um, but to start with, where does that code live? So, what do I need? I need a Netlify account, which I've got.
Yes.
I
And if I
need
account, the GitHub account would be
oh,
ideal.
oh, I've got GitHub.
GitHub.
And you'll see the other stuff I get to work on.
What do you need? You need a Couchbase Capella account,
And when
Couchbase
we say we
customer.
need these, the only thing I've done for Netlify and Capella is sign up and log in. So nothing else is done just because we wanted to go ahead and fight through things like CLI setup together.
Right. Ba-da-dum.
Oh, can I grab that in our chat as well, just so I can copy and paste it? Oh, I bet I can
Yes,
steal it. I bet I can steal it.
absolutely.
Because we're planning on stealing this code in a very, very laid back way.
So, I made a mistake again. I was going to say it's licensed, it's open source, so it's fine. But remember that when you don't put a license, the default is it's not open source. So it's always good to add a license, which I'm
Oh,
going
and
to
for
soon.
folks who haven't seen these before, a license is like a copyright. It's like the permissions you add to your code
Or a copy left.
or copy left. What do you want to do? We could go and programmers and especially open source nerds love to fight about copyright or well, also copyright, but licenses.
I have some opinion on license.
What's your
Uh,
favorite?
I mean, honestly, I like
Oh,
Apache too. I like MIT. It's been brought to my attention recently that the business server license, which is not very open source, is a communist license, which I know sounds weird, but let me explain. The business server license has been created by some vendors to make sure that others couldn't use it and make a business out of it without contributing back some
yeah.
code. And so to me, it feels like it's about a just repetition of the work's value. So it's kind of a communist thing. Is it? I don't know. It's weird.
But let's be weird together. So I don't even think you have to add a license because you've verbally told me and now told the internet that I'm allowed to use it.
You can
So
use it. It's
yeah.
fine.
And y'all are going to see me goofing off a lot because my screens are sort of wobbled. So here I've got the code, and I've also got I've also got a ton of things open. I live like this. It's horrible. Gonna get VS Code open as well. All right, everything's fine. So how? Oh,
Oh,
I'll
boo.
update that. Well, so where do we start? It's the opposite. Usually I boss you around and you drive. This time, so I need to get your code off of GitHub and onto my computer.
Yes. So usually that involves using Git,
And we're going to use the terminal.
and you can. I mean, you don't have to. You
Don't
could
have to.
download it straight up from Git if you wanted to,
Let's do it.
which
Let's
is
download it
perfectly
straight up for
fine.
Git. So here, code,
Wait,
download.
wait.
Wait.
Go ahead, you can
And
reload the page now.
I could does it have a license?
Yes, it does.
Hey, and let's check this out. So license, create license. And this is an MIT license. I confess I'm a big fan of the MIT license. And this is saying
It's a do as you wish license.
I often like to call it the YOLO license, which kind of dates me. And this is saying, hey, you know what? You could do whatever you want, but if something breaks, you can't sue us. We're not in charge. So okay, we're not going to use the terminal yet. We'll use it a little bit just to get used
But
to it, and we'll broadcast it.
you don't have to, right? So if you
You
go
don't
to
have to
code, you should be able to download the whole thing.
download zip, open it up, and I'm going to heck.
We can see it. Yes.
No, no, I'm. Huh, can I drag it onto this desktop? Is that how I can? Okay. So the code right now lives in this folder.
Yes, you have everything you need.
Yeah.
Do we want to go through the code or do
Let.
we think it's fine?
So we've got the form JavaScript, the index HTML, the license. I think the Netlify stuff we'll probably have to redo.
I mean, it depends. Do you want to use that repo or just deploy it, or you want to bring your own form?
Oh. So if I wanted to bring my own form, let's look at how we would change that if that's okay.
So if you were to bring out your own form, then first of all, where is it?
Oh,
The
I
form is the HTML page that lives in the
yeah.
index.html file.
I could go to, and folks doing this could go to Free Code Camp where they've done this already.
Yes.
I could go into the responsive web design certificate. I'm doing it in the other window. Oh, heck. Where am I?
So with free code camp, I think I
And
have
I'm
the
going
list.
to, okay.
I have the link somewhere. You could go here.
Where is here?
It's on the chat. Free code camp. Learn.
Yeah, right there. You make a fantastic point.
And so you could get it from here. We don't see anything you're doing, if that's normal.
Yep, I'm not logged into Free Code Camp on that, so I'm just grabbing VS Code and I'm going to paste my code in nice and lazy. So you can't see anything exciting yet, but okay, I've got VS Code.
VS Code. Latest version.
Here, I'm going to open the folder that we've already got.
The one you downloaded.
Yes, and that's going to
On
be
your
on my
desktop.
Amazing. So this is all of the code we've just downloaded. This is your code. A Git repository is found in the parent folders. Would you like to open that repository? What is it? Does that mean I can connect directly to your repository?
So from what I understood correctly, it means that in desktop you have a Git folder, which is weird.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like something I'd do.
Do you often push the whole content of your desktop folder to GitHub?
No, but I've had a very weird morning.
All right, so we don't have to do that. It's fine. Blup, blup, blup.
So now that I've done this, we've got this
Yes.
index.html, which is yours.
It's mine. I've removed some of the stuff that were on the official. Well, you've removed everything now.
Well,
And you just copy pasted all
I
the things.
deleted yours.
Yes.
And I brought back mine, and I'm going to push save.
It's
and now if I open
pet
this,
survey.
It's a yeah.
You want to open this into your browser. Firefox. Is it available if you type Firefox? Assuming, of course, you're using the Firefox.
I am generally using Firefox.
It seems unhappy.
I feel unhappy. I have been having some computer challenges.
You have copy path on the right click, and you can probably copy the path and then put it in your browser.
Yeah, let's try that. So let's get our path here and see what mine. There we go. Best type of pet survey, pet's name, email, and ideal number of pets. It's not very well formatted, but I'm not too worried about that. I just want to see how we can steal your backend code. And we might have to change it a little bit because we might have to
A little
change
bit,
the JSON object. But
and
it
maybe
can't hurt us.
the ID of the form as well.
Okay, so
Maybe,
we'll just change
maybe possibly, I don't
maybe,
know.
maybe.
All right, so let's take a look at your HTML file.
Yeah, just
Check
real
it out.
fast. The only things I've done so far is I went to Laurent's code, I clicked the download option, and then I opened that folder in VS Code, deleted his HTML, and put my own HTML from my project in. So nothing huge, nothing too exciting. Sorry, where were you saying I should head?
Well, I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. You remember that we've added some script tag at the end of the form, at the end of the
Oh,
page, after the body, because we need to use JavaScript to manipulate our HTML code.
so I'm going to want to put that back probably. I'm
Let's
coming
take
back
a
to
quick look
yours.
at this.
Oh, and do you know what? The only JavaScript tag we did is say to link, just like we linked to our CSS tags. We just said, I'm going to link to that form JavaScript. So we should put it back, and I should put it back before the HTML ends.
Before or body, is it? I don't know.
Oh, in the body? You have indeed put it in the body. I
To
will,
be honest, I have no idea if it changes anything, to be fair, but let's do
and
that.
I'm going to Control S just out of an abundance of caution.
And now you should be able to control click on form.
Control click
Oh, sorry,
on.
on VS Code. If you want to take a look at what you just linked. No, sorry, on dot/form.js.
So this attribute specifies the URI of an external, and this is very technical sounding, isn't it? Of an external script. This can be used as an alternative to embedding the script directly within a document.
Or it's
This,
probably just another file.
yeah, okay.
So we can take a look at this other file because there's a bunch of things that are happening that might not work with the actual page.
Okay, so we're gonna head into form.js, and this was the code we wrote to get it. This is the code
Yes.
you wrote. That might be really scary and weird for folks.
And you were supporting me. And actually, the first line is the one. The first line is the one that's interesting to us right now. What it's doing is taking an element of your HTML page and assigning it to a variable called form, and it's using an ID, and the ID is survey-form. Do you
Okay.
have survey-form on your HTML file?
I want to go ahead and translate that because I think what you're saying is this JavaScript here is going to go get my form, but when it gets the form, it's looking for the ID survey form, the same way CSS would look for an ID if it had a fashion thing for it. So that's going to be for my form element, I think.
Yes.
And my form element does have an ID of survey form. We're safe. That's part of the project.
Wonderful.
Nothing can hurt us. Let's come back and look at the scary JavaScript some more. So we don't have to change any of this. And I think this one where it says add event listener and heck, and submit, because we do have a submit button. I don't think we have to change that.
You don't. It should work as with any kind of form object. So I think we're fine.
These all look pretty scary, but I think we can just not touch them.
One is scary, one is exciting. There's a lot of exclamation point. Boom, 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 boom. Do you have a field in your form and input that is called name?
I could have a field in my. I do have.
Input ID equals name, line 18. Good, good. That's what we need.
Yes.
And then you have a number of pets, and what I had was an age. So that might be different.
So what if I? Oh, I'm gonna have to change some of the JavaScript, but not in a super scary way.
Actually, right now it works, it works, it works, it should work. And then we are sending the thing. You know what? I think we are fine.
Okay. It doesn't care that the names of the inputs are different.
No, because the only name we were using was the name, which I know sounds weird. The only reference we had to one of the element of your form was on the name input. And then we are just sending everything we have to Netlify.
Okay, so the only code I had to change on. No, I didn't have to change any of this JavaScript at all.
Nope, you don't have to change any of the JavaScript at all. You are safe because you were using the survey form ID on your form, which is good. And we are only making reference to a field called name, and you already have that field.
So what I'm going to do over here is, heck, I'm going to try and get on the right screen. Hey, everything's fine. I'm going to save, and then I'm going to come into here and I'm going to refresh it. I don't think it's going to work though. hello@hello.com. I think 2 is the best number of pets. It's a little
Is
controversial.
it?
Someone once told me, so I adopted 3 cats. Someone once told me to never have more pets than you have hands in your household. And that was correct. 3 cats was a mistake. I just submit my form and nothing really happens. I think I know why.
Yes, because we are saying things in our web console. Do you want to open the web console, or are we against that today?
I'm using a different browser than I usually use.
Control
Inspect.
Shift C, is that Chrome?
It is whoop, 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 whoop. The streaming software we use doesn't like my
That's true.
browser of choice.
So if you go to console, you have
And
elements.
this is probably gonna look very small. I'm so sorry, y'all. Oh,
Some red, a
okay.
lot of red. Woo!
A lot of red. So
But
just in case,
some.
is it possible to embiggen this? Oh, it's possible to embiggen this. That's so nice. So I know what my form looks like, so I can make this a little bit smaller. Goodbye. So all of these feel really scary, but let's go through. So a form was submitted. So we got that message in our JavaScript. Heck. We gave ourselves that message to say, oh, cool. You know what? It worked up till this point, but now it's broken. And let's
Yeah,
look
it's
at why it's
red.
broken, because this seems really chill. I mean, it seems super scary if you're doing this on your own. But these error messages can't hurt us.
It's merely informing us that something's wrong somewhere, and the thing that's wrong right now is it's trying to go to a place where it doesn't have the right to go to
Yeah.
because of something called cross-origin resource sharing. I think that's what it means.
Well, I think as well, it's trying to go to use Netlify, and I don't have any Netlify set up. Is that going to be the problem?
could be. It's trying to go somewhere, and you don't have a server running anywhere.
Ah,
We could try to do something local first if you wanted to.
let's go ahead and just jump to right to seeing if we can make it work. And if we can't, we'll just cry and cry. Or actually, nope,
Ooh.
you're in charge. What do you think is the best idea?
I think you want to do a Netlify dev just to see. Running Netlify dev is not going to hurt us, and it's going to be
Yeah.
interesting to see if we can get rid of that error.
So does that mean so where should I do that?
Oh god,
Is that
that needs terminal. So you need to open VS Code.
do I first need to install the thingy?
I don't think so. I think it
Okay.
should work.
So I've got so many things open. I'm so sorry I live like this. I've got a terminal really big. Netlify doesn't do anything.
Oh, you don't have the Netlify command installed. Do we want to install Netlify or do we? Yeah,
Oh,
probably.
it's up to you. Or we can use the drag and drop.
Oh, yeah, okay, let's use the drag and drop then.
Or I can upload my code to Git without using the terminal. So here's mine. I wanted to say my repositories. And if I wanted to make a new one, this is the clumsiest way to steal your code, isn't it?
Well, I mean, you could fork the thing.
I think forking it would have been much better to show, but I'm stealing from Laurent. A new repo is not a very descriptive one. Free code camp, survey. I don't think you have to put the underscores anymore, do you? It's just me being old-fashioned.
I have no idea.
So I'm going to create a repository, and it's empty.
Which is fine. The question is, how do you make it work? Because there's no such thing as drag and dropping your code. Oh, there is. Import code from another repository? No, that's something different. So we have to use the console.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't know. Ooh.
No such thing as drag and drop. No such thing as drag and drop. For folks watching along, it's drag and drop.
And it works.
So this is the messiest way to do things. It's not really properly using Git. I'm not even going to add a good commit message. So this is very janky. I just want this to work. I'm not doing best practices. I'm not doing a good job. And I might even write some of my code directly in these files just to be super lazy. So from here, I think I can import a project from Git. And I can deploy with GitHub. I use a password manager, and I recommend it. So I think I'm going to take this away for a second just because it might show my email address. And y'all can have my work email address, but mine seems a little bit like my business. So what's the searching it for survey? Oh, this can happen. So it can't see my repos yet. I need to configure Netlify on GitHub. I definitely don't want to do the work ones. Let's only put it on select repositories. Oh.
Do you remember the name? I think you can start typing it. It should.
Hey, I'm stealing from Laurent. So here I'm only giving permission. I'm only installing this in that one that I think is useful. Okay, so we see this, and we haven't. I opened up the terminal a couple of times, but we haven't really had to use it. And now this code exists right here, deploying to main. We're not doing anything properly. Proper developers would fuss at us.
That's fine. I mean, if it's live, it works.
So how do I do this?
I think all you have to do is click on deploy, really.
That's it. I don't need to do, because all of these sound
Oh,
very, very impressive and very scary. Can I do them later? Do I need to do them?
you know what? Actually, there's one thing you might want to do now, maybe,
Maybe.
and that's adding environment variable to
Okay.
connect to Couchbase Capella, which I don't remember what did we do with this. Did I only change the one with my password, or did I change everything?
Hang on.
That'd be bad.
I'm going to log into Couchbase. And this is my Couchbase email, so I'm not too fussed at people.
Yes, I've been a terrible person.
Are you a terrible person?
Is doing half the work does doing half the work makes you a terrible person? Because that's what I did.
I think it makes you relatable. So, okay. What we did was we uploaded all of our files to GitHub. We didn't really use those Git commands we'd been taught because we just want them. Have we ever talked about the idea of a sort of a minimum viable product or a minimum viable thing?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know.
I don't think
I
so.
think we mentioned it quickly.
So here, all last week, you showed us the proper way to do things and how to write JavaScript. Here, saying I don't care. Obviously, I care about your hard work, but I just want this to work. So we're kind of doing it the messiest possible way. So we want to add environment variables.
Right, which is the bit that I half did.
Ooh.
So you might have to do an update as soon as I've updated my code, which
That's
should
okay.
happen soon. Let's just do this like this.
Oh, so you're suggesting it might make more sense to fork yours.
I mean, you can just copy paste my last commit, probably.
And again, this is the messiest way to do this. But we went so far out of everybody's comfort zone to say, oh, let's learn about the terminal and this and that. But it's going to be very, very laid back. That sounded like a very decisive, the code is done.
It should have been, but yes. So if you should see a new commit, I've changed a bunch of things really.
Oh,
Just these lines. It starts at line 7 and it ends at line 12. What I
okay.
did was I tried to be consistent and always use environment variable for configuration of my database, whereas I've only hidden my password on the previous
So stuff like your
set of
name and who you.
things.
So we're going to replace that. So we're going to come into, it was in the Netlify functions.
Yes.
And it was helloworld.js. And we're going to, and again, this is a super messy way to do this, but you know what's nice? Is messy still works a lot of the time. We're just going to paste that in. And usually we would have forked this. We're just going to commit changes. And I'm not even going to add a message why. If this breaks later, I'll have no idea why. I mean, I'll have the video. I'm cheating. So there's a lot of really, really nice and beautiful ways to do this. But sometimes just goofing off and being a little bit messy. Yeah.
It's all right. So I think you need to redrag and drop your code.
Oh, I changed it in.
Drop. So it's gonna. You've pushed it, so it's fine. Sorry.
I haven't pushed it.
I mean, you haven't pushed it, but it's your GitHub repo is up to date. So when it's going to be deployed, we'll have everything. So everything is fine. And I was saying nonsense.
No, you were absolutely right because I changed it in the GitHub repo. But why is this?
No, because
Please.
you no, it's fine. You only drag and drop your code to GitHub, so no need to do anything else here
Okay, so I'll
because
just
this is
leave this alone and keep working in GitHub as sort of my
yeah.
text editor, which is
I
very
don't
chaotic.
think we need VS Code anymore because everything is here, and this is our
Yeah,
VS Code. This is GitHub. GitHub is our VS Code.
you can technically use GitHub as a text editor, but it's very messy, and y'all are going to get to see why.
Right. So we have our code. Everything is configurable. So now we need to configure. And by
Okay,
configure, I mean configure the access to our database.
so
So yes, if you
I
go
think
to
we need to look at
Capella,
the database. So
you
the
actually need
only
to,
thing I've done here is signed up.
and then you can provision your what is called a trial database, which is just to try things.
Yeah,
You can go ahead and leave every default. Every
cool.
default is fine. And
Well,
what
can
it's
we
going
just
to do,
is it useful to talk about these to say, oh, these are different places to put your code, but we're using Netlify. We're using a different option.
right? Actually, Netlify is probably hosted on one of these.
See?
Um, there's in the world of cloud, in the world of hosting, in the world of putting stuff online, there are three main actors, which are AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure, respectively Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. And those are the biggest clouds you can find, and this is the one that Couchbase Capella supports. So we can choose any of them and any region as well, because your code, your server might live in different countries for different reasons.
So what you're saying is I don't have to think about this at all. I
You
could
don't.
just put deploy now. And then we just relax. We get a cup of
And we have
tea.
nothing to do.
And so far, all we've done is steal your code. I replaced my
Form.
HTML with yours.
Mhm.
I replaced your HTML with mine, but then I made sure to include that script tag at the bottom. But that was it.
Yes. Yes.
And then we connected Netlify with our existing GitHub repo. So we didn't use the terminal. We just went in and it said, "Hey, I've already told you that this is my GitHub account. You're allowed to talk to each other. Please get access to this repo." And I let it have it. Okay, cool. So scary and hard, but it can't hurt us. And this is my first project. Do I need to change the name of it?
Oh no, 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 no. We
Oh, I
can
can't
just
do anything yet.
wait for it to be deployed. Right now it's deploying, so we are starting a new Couchbase instance. Um, and then at one point, it's going to be ready. So it's creating a new machine. In this new machine, it's installing Couchbase, and it's pre-configuring Couchbase to make sure that it's ready to go and to be used.
Okay, so this is going to be our database. It's doing a lot of complicated computer things behind closed door. We've got a
It's
oh,
hidden.
and look
It's
how healthy
healthy.
this is.
It's
Um,
green. Green means it's fine.
right? And I love that it says it's healthy. Like a oh, I've zoomed in too far. That sounds okay. So do I click on my project?
Yes.
Yes, my first
My first
project.
project. And you have your database. You can go ahead and click on trial cluster. Trial cluster is your ongoing database, and then you have a tab called connect,
Connect?
but
Connect
we
sounded
cannot
right.
really use that yet
Oh, you got my hopes
because
up.
it's a new machine. So let's go to settings. There's a couple of things we need to do.
Okay, so we go to settings,
We need to go to allowed IP addresses on
allowed
the
IP
left
addresses.
and click on add allowed IP and click on allow access from anywhere. The reason we're doing
Usually
this
you
is
don't want to.
yeah,
Like usually this is
that's
bad.
it's not that bad really. It's bad for people that don't have security, which we do. We have security,
Okay.
but ideally, if you want to be as safe as possible, you would only allow the database computers to be accessed by the computers that you know are going to access it. So the computer that runs your application, for instance,
Okay.
we
And
don't
an
really
IP
know.
address is sort of the string of numbers that where your computer's coming from
Yes,
on the internet. Okay. But
and the thing is, we don't really know which one Netlify has, so we're going to go ahead and click on allow access from anywhere.
but the important thing is for just getting our survey online, we don't even have to think about that yet. We can learn about it later.
Yes.
Oh, and it gave me a little be careful. It gave me a be careful sign.
It's fine. You can type confirm and click on allow access from anywhere, and then click on
Hmm,
you're like an hour, and
okay.
then go at the end of the page,
End of the page.
scroll down, and there's add. So go ahead and click on add,
Add. Okay.
and there you are. IP
Okay.
address has been added to the allowed list. So now Netlify can access Couchbase.
And this looks
That's
like I'm
good.
saying 0 because it's 0, 0. It looks like I'm saying nobody can access this, but it really means everybody. I don't mind.
Everybody all the time because this is never going to expire as well.
Okay. So how
So,
do I make this and Netlify cuddle? I think that's the technical process.
oh, the technical process. Well, you need a user to cuddle. So let's create a user. If you scroll down, you
Okay.
should have database access.
Database access. That sounds really
And
impressive.
so we need to create a new database access, which is basically a username and a password. Can
Yes.
be anything. Password cannot be anything. It has to be 8 characters. It has to have a capital letter, a lower letter, a special character, and number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we remember that password?
Probably.
Good. Add another, select a bucket.
Select a bucket. Oh, select a bucket.
Oh, we only have the travel sample right now. Shoot.
Can I add another bucket?
Well, it would be adding another access to another bucket that doesn't exist
Doesn't
yet because I've
exist.
done things in the wrong way. So go ahead
That's
and click
okay.
on buckets on the left. Let's forget about that
So
for a moment.
we'll first we make our bucket, then we add access.
Yes.
I am just going to follow along. I'm gonna assume that I want to click create bucket. Um,
You can call it whatever you want, really. It's the place where you are going to store your survey answer. And the way we store things in Couchbase is in a bucket that contains different scope, that contains different collection. So let's go ahead and call that survey. You can leave everything by default. We are happy with
yeah.
the choices that we are being
Conflict resolution.
given.
Love it. Okay, so this all
Um,
looks very, very technical. And I bet we're going to learn about this when we learn more about databases, but we could just push create
yes,
bucket. And if folks wanted to, they could go back and watch your um, sessions from last week because we went over this in a bit more detail.
absolutely. We have a bucket. It's called survey. It has a default scope and it has a default collection. So we're happy with that. So now we need to get access to that thing. And so we can go
Database
back to
access,
database access,
create database
create database
access,
access,
yeah,
chess,
JERS,
jers,
uh,
password. That is very safe. And then
mhm,
select the bucket survey.
survey. Oh, what's a scope? Default. Default?
Or
All
you can
scopes.
do all
Default.
scopes
All
and all
scopes?
collection. Yeah, it's fine.
Access.
And read and
I think
write.
it needs read and write. What is so
Yes.
I think we do need to understand what read write access means.
You remember we talked about database being warehouse or shelves and all that
Yeah.
stuff? Some people have the permission to add stuff on the shelf, and some people have the permission to look at what's in the shelf or even take what's in the shelf.
So it's like being a librarian versus just being an author or just being a reader.
Yeah, you decide what goes in and out. If you have write access, you decide what goes in and out of the shelf of your libraries. And if you're a reader, you only have read. You don't decide
Yeah.
what goes in and what goes out.
I could just
We are
push
gonna
create database access.
yes,
Everything's
because
fine.
so now you
And I'm
can go to. I mean, you can edit that if you want to, but like we're
just
happy with
checking it.
what we have, and we can go to the connect tab, and the connect tab
Okay.
should give us every information we need. It's giving us a connection string. It's giving us. Well, I mean, we probably know everything else. So you can go ahead and copy paste that,
So copy this
and we
and
can go to
to our
Netlify
code. Oh, to Netlify.
because our code
Oh,
now uses environment variable. Um, And so it was capital letter, Couchbase
Let's look at what that
underscore
said. Hang on.
connection underscore
So
string.
Couchbase
Right.
connection string. So we want to put, let me just make sure we're all looking at it at the same time. This is the Couchbase connection string. It says connection string.
Mhm.
And what we want to do is we're going to name this Couchbase connection string and paste in the string. And that way, when our code goes to grab Couchbase connection string, Netlify will pass it this bunch of letters and numbers. Ooh. That looks right, doesn't it?
I think so.
Couchbase, letter. And I want to make sure I don't mistype this Couchbase connection string in all caps. So I'm going to copy and paste this one over as well. I think I say new variable.
You can
Oh,
create a new one, and that's Couchbase username, and that's chess.
is it? Oh, heck.
Is there a
Everything's
lazy way to do it? Yes, probably.
almost definitely. So, okay. So here, that's going to be Jess. And I think I did that all lowercase. And I bet is the last one Couchbase password.
It's not the last one.
I'm
We're going to need another one, which
going
is
to put
fine.
in, it's the same password.
Oh my. Can you
That
click on
shows.
the little eye here? Yes. Oh, what happened?
Oh,
Oh, we are deploying the website because
oh,
I don't know why. It's fine. Let's deploy it. We can redeploy it again if you want. That's okay. Let's go and have a look at um, site configuration,
because we still needed some more environment
environment
variables.
variables. We have a connection string, we have a password, we have a username, and we need to add our bucket name.
Oh gosh. Add single variable.
And it was Couchbase underscore bucket. And I think your bucket was called survey.
I'm just going to grab this so I don't spell it wrong. Oh, heck. I'm just going to click on everything. Oh, we need Couchbase scope as well.
I mean, I think the default is fine because it says default and default, so you should be fine.
Survey, all lowercase.
And I think we are happy with this. We can create a variable, and I think we have everything we need.
Okay.
So if you go back to site overview, we should probably, oh no, sorry, click on build and deploy.
Was that down at the
On
bottom?
that was on the middle menu.
The middle menu.
Not the navigation
right
menu. Yes. And we want to tell them to redeploy because we changed the configuration. So maybe we can do that here. Oh no, that's just a configuration. Maybe not. Sorry, that's on the left menu, left. Under site configuration, there's something called deploys. I guess that's where we can tell Netlify to redeploy the thing.
Yeah, I think trigger deploy.
Deploy site.
Okay, cool. So if we need to change our environment variables, that's not going to hurt us.
No, I mean, probably not.
Oh, and now so this looks a lot like the terminal, and that's very exciting. But I think this is this the Netlify server telling us things?
Yes, it's Netlify's own terminal.
It's their terminal. And this is telling us, so some of this might look kind of familiar, but we don't have to really know what it means as long as we keep getting these little green ticks. We don't have to understand what it means yet.
It's a terminal running on someone else's computer, which means that the cloud is someone else's computer.
And I think that can be really challenging for folks when they say, where is my website? I'll say, oh, it's on someone else's computer.
It's on the cloud.
Which it means the same thing. One of the big questions we get asked a lot is, I have a picture. How do I put it on the internet? Because we find that I'm only chatting so much because it says in progress. It's taking time. Because a lot of platforms make it really easy. So if you want to post a picture on Facebook, or if you want to post a picture on Instagram, it's pretty common sense. But if I say I want to post a picture to the web, that's flexible enough and weird enough where it can kind of be hard. Oh, this says site is live, so I think I might not need to worry about post processing. I can leave that alone. I've got Voluble Peony, which I think is beautiful.
I mean, that's a good thing to do, but it's probably .netlify.app or something like this. You should be
Okay.
able to find the address somewhere. If you go to
Site
site overview,
overview. Yeah.
yes, Voluble Pony.
I,
All
I
right,
don't
it's live.
I don't know
I
if this will
mean,
work.
no, but that's I mean that's the first thing you've deployed your first time we are seeing your site live, so that's pretty cool already.
Hello@hello.com. 2, we've learned a valuable lesson about not having.
Can you open your developer tool so we see if the thing is happy or not? And
It
it
says it worked.
says it worked. So I guess the thing's happy.
So how do I know it worked though? Can I come to
Well,
Couchbase,
you should be able to come to Couchbase and click on data tools.
data tools, and if this worked, it should show my
Ooh.
oh, what's this? A document is like an answer. It's like one little piece of data. Okay, it worked, but it didn't work.
It worked, but it didn't work. It's weird. Like we have something that has
But
been
it's empty.
created, but it doesn't have any content.
I know why. I bet I know why. Is it because when we wrote that code to turn our form into a JSON object, it was pretty specific to our IDs, wasn't it?
So it could be this, or it could be something else. Let's
Okay.
let's open the code and take a look. I actually have no idea what's going on.
Oh, that's pretty
Okay, so
relaxing.
let's stay here. We can stay here. We know that something shows up. We know that we are connecting to the database, so we know that bit works. We can scroll down because we did something in the database, so we know this works. Now let's go down again and again and again, and yes. So here we have something called var data equals json.parse event.body, and the problem is apparently data was empty.
Oh,
Why was data empty?
I think it's because if we come to our big scary JavaScript file, and that's the technical, isn't it, to say big
Or
scary?
a technical term.
Um, oh, no, because this just says, and this is super hard if you haven't seen it before, don't worry about it. This is just saying, hey, the stuff that you get passed over, turn that into a JSON object.
And so what stuff did we pass over? We passed over the content of the data object of the event that was triggered by the. That doesn't make any sense. What's going on?
Now that we've gotten to the hard part, do you want to trade?
I mean, we can try. Let me see. Because it should work.
And that's the
Don't.
sort of famous thing you'll hear in programming, like, oh, this should definitely work. And then it
You know,
doesn't.
in theory it works, or it works on my machine,
I
or
think the package.j. No.
no. I mean, so the Couchbase connection works. We can
Yeah.
create a document, and but the problem is the doc is like we
Empty.
added something, but it's empty. Why is it empty? Do you want to add some logging to what we do?
I want to look at this for just 1 second and then we'll add some logging.
So that's interesting, actually. You can see here that it says console on line 10, console.log JSON objects. Do you want to take a look at what's inside our JSON object?
Yeah.
So if you go to your deployed website, and if you open your yes, which is you have the object, and the object is
Didn't work.
weird. Why
So
is
the
it weird?
object's just an object here.
Can you submit that again so we make sure that the form was submitted, the object, the thing is empty? Huh.
So a form was submitted. It worked.
but the object is empty. That's weird. So let's we know we have a problem between our HTML and our form and our JavaScript.
So
Here
let's
it says
handle form.
I'm gonna hazard a guess and say that we have an HTML problem.
That sounds like me. Do you want to see if I've done something wrong in the HTML?
Let's take a look.
So
We have a form. It has label. It has inputs. So we're happy about this.
button ID, submit, type submit. It should submit.
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
have I done something goofy?
So your input elements have ID, but they don't have name. So we can't really name the input of your form. So that means that you probably need to do something a little different in your HTML code. Let
Okay.
me take a look at mine.
I love the way you were like, you should probably make your code more like mine.
They're just missing one bit, I think.
Okay. Well,
And
let's look at
that's
yours because yours is right here.
so if you look at the HTML, there's
Let's make
the
this.
input field, because we have our form, and inside our form we have label and we have inputs. The input is the bit that store your data, and here you can see one field that is not in your code, which is the field name.
Okay.
And
Oh yeah,
so
because that
this is
the
what we
only
use.
field, the only name you used was name, but you probably still need name. Oh,
You still need to wow, I cannot speak English anymore, it's late. You
do it
still
in
need to
French.
name your input. Il faut toujours nommer son input. So if you go to your code, um, and every input needs to have a name attribute so that the form knows which name to give to the input, right?
Oh,
Oh, so you're
we've
in the label
seen
right now,
these.
so you need to move that one element down
Oh,
because that's the label.
that's the label. Everything's fine. So we're gonna, oh, so we've got input, type, required placeholder. And I think with HTML, we can put this anywhere inside the input element.
Yes.
And we're gonna come back to the input element again. And just to, nope, I was gonna say, just to prove that's gonna work, I'll put it somewhere else, but let's not get fancy. Here, the name, just make it email. Here, we're gonna come past the label. We're gonna come into the input. All right, get the name. Everything continues to be fine. Here, we're gonna have number.
I think we are happy now. I think we can
We're going to
commit
commit
our
our
changes.
changes, which again, we wouldn't do this in the real world. We wouldn't run it like this. Here,
It
I
should
think,
trigger a new deployment.
okay. Do you think so? Stay
Yes.
at,
It says
oh,
building.
it's doing right now. Oh, that's quite fancy. So as soon as this says it's green, we can go and reload this building. This is a nice time to have a glass of water. And then if this works, we've done all of this without doing any real coding. We changed a little HTML to add names, which we apparently need. And we deleted your HTML, put ours in, and added the script tag. Then the things we did was we went through the database setup process with Couchbase. We made sure that Netlify could get access to our repo. And then we added our environment variables. So as long as somebody else writes the JavaScript, this isn't too scary.
Right. So you can play Lego with other bricks without having you to build the brick or build the assembly of bricks. You can put things together. You don't even have to do them.
Yeah, and I know tons. One of the questions I get a lot in the bootcamp is, "Oh, could I work in tech just doing HTML and CSS?" And I know great front end devs who don't really mess with JavaScript much, and I respect that.
It's a different job, and people have different sensibilities, and that's fine. It's still a
Yeah.
developer job, and it's not mine. And I'm happy, really, really happy when I get to work with someone that knows what they're doing in HTML and CSS, because I don't. Like, I know the basic stuff, but just I
Okay,
can
but brag. What are you very good at aside from human languages?
I cannot center a div on in HTML. I couldn't do that. What I'm very good at, I'm a decent cook.
Which I think is a really good point. This stuff's more important than just computers.
Yes.
Okay, it still says it's building.
It's all
Very
right.
impatient. Well, these only took 32 seconds.
Oh, maybe it's not uploading. Maybe if you reload the page, it's gonna say it's published. Because sometimes sockets
Oh,
are
it is.
being,
It's published.
yeah.
Everything's fine. So we sort of gently think that maybe this has worked. I'm going to copy this, or you know what? I can reload this and it'll
You can
work.
reload that. Do you want to take a
Yeah.
look at your field and make sure you have the name?
Oh,
You could do that. You don't have to.
or
Or
after.
you could just be mad and just.
So I think this is super good because here we can see. So, and these dev tools are super important. You can right click and then inspect is usually what's going on. Here it says a form was submitted. That's the message that you sent to yourself in the code. But here it's sending the JSON object, sending our data over, and the it worked message. So now
Did it.
if I start this again, refresh this, our little club is, I'm going to come into data tools.
You have 4 documents because we've clicked several times, and then you have this one. So
Yeah, this is
congratulations, everything
fine. This
works.
worked. Okay. So it is entirely possible to get this working without writing any of the JavaScript yourself. It's still a little tiny bit stressful, but not in a way that can hurt you. Laurent, where can people come if they have so respectfully and kindly, I'm not helping anybody with database stuff. I'm so bad at it. Where should folks come if they want database support?
So you can come on the Cachebase Discord channel if you want to. We are on Discord. We have a couple people there. We have a forum on, I think it's forums.cachebase.com.
Yeah,
We're on Reddit. We're on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. If you want to talk to me, just message me on X.
on X.
It's funny. It still says twitter.com, but.
Look, I look.
Yes.
So
Any
I
social network, if you type my LDOGON, you will find me, and I'll be happy to chat with you.
so I'm just gonna put it in here. Get database help here. Fabulous. And is it too bossy to see if we can add you to the Bad Website Club
I think
one as well?
I'm half in there. Wait a minute, because I
Okay.
know I've been told if I wasn't added in 24 hours to nudge someone, so I think it's time for me
Did
to
did
nudge
you
someone.
did you push did you click the little green check mark?
I did.
Does it work now? Sorry, an adult has to come through every now and again and manually run a verification process because computers are terrible.
And because
But
people are terrible as well sometimes.
we'll go ahead and we'll add Laurent to the Bad Website Club as well. So
Yes.
thank you all so much for joining us. Tomorrow on the main bootcamp stream, we're going to look at our second project, and then we're going to get rid of Laurent. He's going to go. He's going to go on vacation for a whole day.
Yes.
And we're going to have fabulous Naya back, and we're going to do a much easier, much quicker real life version of the project. Laurent, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Cool. Bye, everyone.
Cheers.